Forget all these congratulations here and there. Forget all this paparazzi. As long as I remain unmarried, you will never enjoy your marriage.
If someone wants to destroy you, they don't always fight you openly. Some people will smile with you, sit in your house, eat your food, and still be planning how to scatter your life. My name is Chioma, and this is how my own sister almost destroyed my marriage. I got married before my elder sister, and that was where everything started. My sister's name is Amaka. She is older than me by 4 years. Growing up, Amaka was always respected. She was bold, she spoke well, she carried herself with confidence. But there was one thing about her that nobody knew. She did not like men. Not the normal kind of, I'm not ready yet to. No, she didn't believe in relationships at all. If any of her friends talked about their boyfriends, she would laugh and say, just wait, you will understand. If somebody got engaged, she would say, marriage is not an achievement. At first, we thought she was just being careful. But as time went on, we realized it was deeper than that. Then I met my husband, Tunde. Tunde was calm, not loud, not proud at all. Just a simple man that knew how to treat people right. He respected me, he listened, he cared. And for the first time in my life, I felt at peace with someone. When I told my family, everybody was happy. My mother liked him. My father approved. But Amaka, she didn't say anything, no. She just looked at me and said, hope you know what you're doing, Sha. I laughed it off. When Tunde came for introduction, she barely spoke. She answered greetings, but nothing more. After he left, my mother was praising him. But Amaka just stood up and said, everybody is always good at the beginning. That was the first warning, but I ignored it. When Tunde proposed, I said yes. I was happy, but from that moment, Amaka changed. She became distant, became very cold. If I was discussing wedding plans, she would just walk away. If I was excited, she would look at me like I was doing too much. Then one evening, she said something I will never forget. She looked at me and said,
forget all these congratulations here and there. Forget all this paparazzi. As long as I remain unmarried, you will never enjoy your marriage.
I laughed. I thought she was joking. But she didn't laugh. Oh. That was when I should have taken her seriously. But I didn't. My wedding came. Everything went well. After the wedding, I moved in with Tunde. The first few weeks were peaceful, very peaceful. We talked, we laughed, we planned our future. I even told myself that maybe I was overthinking things about my sister. Then one day, Tunde came back from work very quiet. Very, very quiet. I asked him what was wrong. He said nothing. But I knew something was wrong. Later that night, he showed me something, a message from an unknown number. He said, be careful of your wife. My heart skipped. I said, what is this? He said he didn't know. I said, do you believe this? He said no. But I saw it in his eyes. That was how it all started. 2 days later, another message came. This one said, ask her about the man she was talking to last month. I was confused. What man? I had nothing to hide. But the problem was not truth. The problem was doubt. Because once doubt enters, it starts growing. Tunde didn't accuse me, but he started asking more questions. Simple questions, like who called you? Why didn't you pick? Who is this number? At first, I didn't think much of it. Then something else happened. One Sunday, Amaka came to visit. She sat in her living room, smiling, talking like everything was normal. She greeted my husband politely, even joked with him. I was happy. I thought maybe everything had settled. But that visit changed everything. After she left, Tunde became different. He asked me, do you still talk to your old colleagues often? I said yes, sometimes. He said, Amaka mentioned one guy that used to be very close to you. I froze because I knew exactly what she was doing. Half truth, that guy really liked me, yes. But I never dated him. But the way she said it made it look like something more was going on. I explained everything. Tunde said, okay. But again, that small doubt, it still stayed. That was how everything still continued. Small things like this, comments, questions, misunderstandings. Nothing big enough to cause a serious fight, but enough to slowly remove peace. Then one afternoon, something happened that changed everything. Tunde came home angry, very angry. He showed me his phone. A screenshot looked like a chat. My name, my picture, and messages that looked like I was talking to another man, flirting. My hands started shaking. I said, Tunde, this is not me. He said, then who is it? I said, I don't know. That was the first time we had a serious argument because now it was not just doubt, it looked like proof. That night, I could not sleep because I knew one thing. This was not coincidence. Somebody was doing this. Somebody close. And the only person that came to my mind was Amaka. But how do I prove it? The next time she came, I watched her closely. The way she talked, the way she smiled, and the way she looked at my husband. Everything felt different. Then one evening, I made a mistake. I left my phone in the room and went outside. When I came back, Amaka was inside, holding my phone. She quickly dropped it when she saw me and said, I was just checking time. My heart dropped. That was when I knew this was bigger than I thought. But what I discovered later that night was what made me realize my marriage was already in danger. That night, I checked my phone carefully and I saw something I had never noticed before. Another number linked to my WhatsApp, a number I did not recognize. And when I opened it, the first message I saw was sent to my husband. Now tell me, if your sister is secretly setting you up like this, what will you do? That night, I did not sleep because what I saw on my phone didn't make sense. My heart was beating fast. Another number linked to my WhatsApp, a number I had never used, but it was there. And the only person that had access to my phone was Amaka. That was when fear entered me fully. Not fear of her, fear of what she could do next. The next morning, I acted normal. I did not tell my husband immediately because I needed to be sure. I needed proof, so I became quiet, very quiet. I started watching her carefully, every move, every word. Then I did something I had never done before. I changed my phone password. I removed face unlock. I stopped leaving my phone around. And that was when she started behaving differently. She became uncomfortable. She would say things like, why are you not hiding your phone? I would smile, but inside me, I knew. Then one afternoon, she came again, unannounced. As usual, she sat down like she owned the place, talking freely with my husband, laughing. I stood there, watching both of them. And for the first time, I felt like a stranger in my home. Then she said something casually that almost made me shout. She said, Tunde, you have to be very patient with Adao. She has always been a bit complicated. Complicated? I looked at her. She smiled, like she said nothing. But that one sentence stayed in my husband's mind. I could see it. Later that night, he asked me, why didn't you tell me you have anger issues? I laughed in disbelief. Anger issues? From where? He said Amaka mentioned it. That was when I got tired. Very tired. Because now it was clear. She was not just sending messages, she was planting ideas. Small seeds. And those seeds were growing inside my marriage. That night, I told my husband everything. Everything I found. The second number, the fake messages, everything. He was quiet, very quiet. Then he said, Chioma, this is serious. So I said, I know. Then he asked me one question that broke me. He said, are you sure it's her? I didn't answer immediately because that was the hardest part. How do you prove that your own sister is doing this to you? I just said, I'm not guessing anymore. The next few days, we were very careful. We stopped reacting. We stopped arguing. We acted like everything was normal because we wanted to catch her. Then the opportunity came one evening. She came again. This time, I left my phone on the table. Deliberately, I walked out, but I didn't go far. I stood behind the door, waiting, watching. Then I heard it, the sound of my phone unlocking. My heart started beating fast. Slowly, I peeped, and what I saw made everything clear. Amaka was holding my phone, typing. She was calm. She was relaxed, like she had done it many times before. I pushed the door open immediately. She froze, her hand still on my phone. For a few seconds, we just looked at each other. Then I said, continue. She didn't move. I stepped closer and I said, continue what you were doing. She dropped the phone slowly. Then she smiled. That same smile. And said, you have finally caught me, My heart dropped. No denial. No explanation. Just that. You have finally caught me. My husband stood up. He was shocked. Completely shocked. Amaka, why? He asked. She looked at him, then looked at me and said something that I will never forget. She said, I was only helping you see the truth. I almost laughed. What truth? I asked. She said, she's not as perfect as she looks, so. That was when everything came out. The jealousy, the anger, the bitterness. She said, all my life, people have been comparing me to you. Now you are married, enjoying life, and I should just be watching you, Abi. I said, so your solution is to destroy my marriage? She didn't answer immediately. Then she said, if your marriage is strong, it will survive. That sentence made me weak because she didn't even see what she was doing as wrong. To her, it was a test she created. My husband sat down quietly. He was processing everything she had said, everything she had done. Then he stood up, looked at her and said, you need to leave. Immediately, she looked surprised. Maybe she didn't expect that, but she didn't argue. She picked up her bag, looked at me one last time and said, this is not over. And she left. That night, my house was quiet, too quiet. My husband sat beside me. He held my hand and said, I'm sorry. I nodded, but something inside me had changed. Because even though the truth was out, the damage was already there. Trust had been shaken. Peace had been broken. And the worst part, she was not done, because 2 days later, I got another message from a new number, and what it said made my body go cold. The message said, you think he believes you now? Let's see how long that lasts. Now tell me, if someone this close to you refuses to stop, what will you do?